Okay, we are on linear equations word problems. We only have 3 homework problems, and we are on page 160, number 42. I want you to go ahead and pause the video and try to get as far as you can, set up the equation, and try to graph. So here we go. It says James earns a monthly salary of $1,200 and a commission of $125 for each car he sells. Graph an equation that represents how much James earns in a month in which he sells X cars. 1,200 is where he starts every single month. That would represent my y-intercept. Then he earns $125 for each car that he sells. So car has to stand for X, however many cars that he sells. 125 would have to be my slope because that is what is connected to my variable. So then I would have y equals 125x plus 1,200. My x-axis represents my x. My x represents cars. So however many cars he sells, that's what it's going to be. Then my y-axis would stand for my money. How much money does he earn for every car that he sells? So here we go. So he starts at 1,200. So let's go ahead. I know my slope is going to be 125 over 1. So every car, these are cars, so if he sold 0 cars, if he sold 1 car, 2 car, 3 car, 4 car, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, so on and so forth. His money, I know, he's going to start at 1,200, and then he's going to go ahead and go up 125 every single time over 1, because that would be my slope. So let's go ahead and see where we want to start. Let's go ahead and do this. This means I'm going to skip some values, and I'm actually going to start at 1,200. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and count by 100. So this would be 1,300, 1,400, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 2,000, 2,100. You could count by anything you want, but let's go ahead and I'm going to count by 100. You could count by even 125 if you would like. So here we go. So I know that I start at 1,200. My slope is up 125 over 1. So if I go up 125, so that would be 100. 125 would be up another quarter over 1. I would go up 125 over 1. I would go up 125 over 1. Up 125 over 1. Now, how do I know that I am doing this correct? Well, if I plugged in 1 into my x, I would have 125 times 1 plus 1,200. That would give me 1,325. That's exactly where my dot is. If I plug in 2 into my x, that would give me 125 times 2 would be 250. 250 plus 1,200 is 1,450. 1,450 is where my dot is. I can plug in every single one of my values that I want, and that's where it's going to be placed on my y-axis, or my y value. So if this continued, it would look something like this. Okay? So on letter B it states, use the graph to estimate the number of cars James needs to sell in order to earn $5,000. So if this were to continue, this would be 2,200 and it would keep going. Well, my cars is going to be way over here. I don't know exactly what it's going to be just yet, but what I could do My graph, I'm not able to get to 5,000, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat a little bit, and if I want 5,000, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in $5,000. So 5,000 equals 125x plus 1,200. I'm going to get rid of my 1,200 and solve for how many cars I'm going to need in order to get my amount of cars. So if I were to take 5,000 minus 1,200, that would be 3,800 equals 125x. Divide by 125, I get 3,800 divided by 125. That gives me about 30 cars. So if I really want to make sure that I get my money, I would have to sell 31 cars. Or about 30. Okay, so here we go. Page 160, number 49. Pause the video and try. It says, Ms. Johnson is renting a car for vacation and plans to drive a total of 800 miles. Okay? It says a rental car charges $153 for the week. So $153 is what we start with, including 700 miles and $0.23 for each additional mile. If Ms. Johnson has only $160 to spend on the rental car, can she afford to rent a car? So let's go ahead and check this out. What we're going to go ahead and is, I have 153 that I already have to pay. I have 160 to spend. 153 is for 700 miles, but I need to go 800 miles, which means how many miles do I have left? I have 100 miles left. I'm going to have to multiply this by 23 cents because I'm going to have to pay that over for every single mile. Then I have to add the 160 that I actually owe. If I take 100 times 0.23, I get 23. If I add that to 160, I have 183. I would have to have $183, which I don't have. So would I have enough money? No. Ms. Johnson will not have enough money. So now we are on page 221, number 50. Okay? So go ahead and pause the video, get as far as you can, and try. On number 50, it says a rental company charges $8 per hour for a mountain bike plus $5 fee for a helmet. So per hour, so 8 per hour. So let's go ahead and let H stand for hour. So I know H is going to stand for hour. And I also know 8 has to be my slope because it's connected to my variable. And then he has to pay a fee for a helmet of $5. I'm going to go ahead and let T be my total. So let's say T equals 8H plus 5. That's the same as Y equals 8X plus 5. So I'm going to let T stand for total. So here we go. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the tuition T for C, or sorry, wrong. It says write an equation in slope-intercept form for the total cost C for a helmet of a bicycle for T hours. So they actually used C for my total money, and then they used T for my hours. So I should have read what they wanted me to call my variables. So my C is actually going to be my total, and my T is actually going to be my hours. Then it says graph the equation. So T is my X, so T is going to stand for my hours, and then this is going to be my total cost. So I know I'm going to start at 5, but I'm going to go up 8 over 1. So let's go ahead and let my hours be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, so on and so forth. I'm going to go ahead and count by 5. I don't have to skip any values because I start at a very good spot. So let's go ahead and see what happens. So I start at 5, that's my y-intercept. I'm going to go up 8 over 1. So 5 plus 8 would give me 13. So 13 is about here over 1. So then 8, so 13, so if I do it again, 13 plus 8, because I got to go up another 8, 13 plus 8 is 21 over 1. 21 plus 8 is 29, so 29 over 1. 29 plus 8 is 37 over 1. And I can continue, and my graph is going to look something like this. It says, what would the cost be for 2 helmets and 2 bicycles for 8 hours? So here we go. So if I need to do 8 hours, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug in 8 for my time. So C equals 8 times 8 plus 5. That would give me 64 plus 5, which is 69. That is for one person. So I need to multiply this by 2 because this would give me per 2 people. So 69 times 2 would give me 138. So it would cost 138 for 2 people, and we are done.